Alabama man scheduled to die tonight at 6, saved by a last-minute stay. Then tonight at 8:38, Alabama carried out its first execution of 2020. Nathaniel Woods was pronounced dead at 9:01.
Tonight, justice has been served. Nathaniel Woods, one of two cop killers in the bloodiest day in Birmingham Police Department history, has met his just fate.
Attorney General Steve Marshall there saying Woods led the officers into an ambush in 2004. A jury convicted him of killing 3 of those officers. Under the felony murder law, accomplices can also be convicted of murder. Another defendant, Kerry Spencer, confessed to being the sole gunman. Both men were sentenced to die. Spencer spoke over the phone with CNN.
He didn't know I was going to shoot anybody. I mean, I put this on my life, on my children's life. I swear to God, I didn't know I was going to do this. So how would Nate know?
So Spencer doesn't have an execution date set yet. Wood's family, however, and friends begged for a stay, saying he never fired a shot and didn't deserve to die. His supporters also included Martin Luther King Jr.'s son and Kim Kardashian. Woods did not make any final statements before he died. So let me break down today's timeline. Woods was scheduled to die at 6 p.m. today, just half an hour before the Supreme Court of the United States issued a stay. 2 hours later, at 7:36, Governor Ivey denied the request for reprieve or clemency. At 7:51, the Supreme Court denied the stay, clearing the way for his execution, which happened within the hour.
Ladies and gentlemen, Governor Kay Ivey someone need to have a recall election to vote her out, because she knew that Nathaniel Woods did not pull the trigger. She knew that he was innocent. She knew that he didn't even know these police officers even show up at his door, and she was the one that lifted the stay. Lifted the Supreme Court stay at execution, all because she wants quote-unquote justice. And the Attorney General had the audacity to say, well, justice was served, that he allowed to kill these 3 white police officers. Okay. So you let Nathaniel Woods, who didn't have anything to do with this, even though he was at his house. He had no idea that the 3 white police officers even show up at his house. And obviously the state of Alabama just execute an innocent man. And even his friend even admitted that he was the one that pulled the trigger. But yet you're going to kill an innocent man anyway. Unbelievable. I'm going to go ahead and read this article. This article comes from WAFF Channel 48. It says Nathaniel Woods was executed Thursday night following a brief stay of execution. The temporary stay of execution was issued around 5:30 p.m. Thursday, but the order was denied by the Supreme Court shortly before 8 p.m. The execution by lethal injection was carried out at 8:38 p.m. at the William C. Holman Correctional Facility. Woods was pronounced dead at 9:01 p.m. Woods did not give a final statement, according to the Alabama Department of Corrections. Now, I'm gonna read this statement from Governor Kay Ivey, who, basically just lifted this execution, was responsible of letting this innocent man be put to death. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. I'm going to be sick to my stomach, but I'm going to read this anyway. It says, on June 17, 2004, 4 Birmingham police officers went to the apartment of Nathaniel Woods, a known drug dealer, to issue a warrant of arrest. Unfortunately, only one of those officers lived to recount the horrendous assault upon him and his fellow officers. As explained by the Alabama Court of Criminal Appeals, the evidence showed that Woods was an integral participant, get this guys, in the intentional murder of these 3 officers. I'm going to stop you right there. Intentional participant? But at the same time, there's no evidence that he didn't even pull the trigger. He had no idea that these were police officers, number one. Number two, his friend, it was the one that wants to pull the trigger on all these police officers, not Nate. Even he admitted on CNN that he did this, he acted alone. Nate didn't have anything to do with this. And now you just executed an innocent man. All because you feel like doing it. Because, you allowing him to die for a crime he didn't commit. Wow. Let me go ahead and continue reading this. It says, on the day the officers were killed, Mr. Woods talked to others about killing police officers. Get this, guys. He taunted the officers and lured them into his apartment where he knew they would be met by gunfire. He pointed the gunman to the third police officer and he escaped with the gunman. So, let me get this straight. This is the governor of Kay Ivey, ladies and gentlemen. So, Nate basically participated in killing these three officers without any evidence, without even proof that he was even taunted these officers. Nate didn't have any idea who they were. And these officers broke into their house. Have no idea that those were cops, by the way. And obviously, he didn't even have a gun on his hand, but his friend even admitted he pulled the trigger. So really, he was taunted police officers into his house. He was the integral participant of the three killings of these three white police officers. Okay, it's just pure politics on her part. So let me continue reading. It says, each officer died of multiple gunshot wounds. 2 officers were shot in the back and 1 in the head, and none of those officers had an opportunity to return fire. In fact, 1 officer's weapon has still holstered. The state offered the testimony of 39 witnesses at Woods' capital murder trial, including Officer Michael Collins, 25 other law enforcement officers, and forensic expert. There is no evidence and no argument has been made that Nathaniel tried to stop the gunman from committing these heinous crimes. In fact, he later bragged about his participation in his horrific murders. As such, the jury did not view Woods' act as those of an innocent bystander. They believed that he was fully engaged participant. A jury of Mr. Woods' peers convicted him of 4 counts of capital murder. In the past 15 years, his conviction has been reviewed at least 9 times, and no court has found any reason to overturn the jury's decision. Under Alabama law, someone who helps kill a police officer is just as guilty as the person who directly committed the crime. Since 1983, Alabama has executed 2 individuals for being an accomplice to capital murder. After thorough and careful consideration of the facts surrounding the case, the initial jury's decision, the many legal challenges, and reviews, I concluded that the state of Alabama should carry out Mr. Woods' lawfully imposed sentence this evening. This is not a decision that I take lightly, but I firmly believe in the rule of law and that justice must be served. My thoughts and most sincere prayers are for the families of Officer Chillum, Owen, and Bennett. May the God all comfort be with these families and they continue to find peace and heal from this terrible crime. That's from Governor of Alabama, Kay Ivey, ladies and gentlemen. She lifted this stay and killed an innocent man. Just straight murdered this man. Know that he didn't pull the trigger. Know that there's no evidence that he was even involved in the shooting. He had no idea that it was police officers that breaking into the house. But yet they killed him anyway. Straight justice. Let me go ahead and his friend Carrie Fisher, ladies and gentlemen, admitted, and you heard the audio. He was an interview by a CNN reporter, even admitted, he said, Nate didn't have anything to do with this. It was all me, and yet they killed an innocent man anyway. So let me continue this. It says it will be 16 years this June since the 3 Birmingham police officers were shot and killed. Woods was arrested and later convicted. A co-defendant, Carrie Fisher, said he was the one who shot the officers. But under Alabama law, it doesn't matter who actually fired the shots. In this case, the prosecution said Woods was a mastermind and plotted to help kill the officers. WAFF 48 News spoke with one of the Woods attorneys, Lauren Ferranio. If I pronounced the last name, I apologize. She said there's no evidence of a plot. Ferranio said the state-appointed lawyers Wood has failed him. She said the state offered Woods a plea deal, which they rejected because they were under the impression Woods wasn't eligible for the death penalty. Wow. The Attorney General denies a plea deal was ever offered. Tuesday, Ferranio presented a 60-page report to the governor's council. She said she hoped the governor put a stop to this. We found it repulsive that people are committing violent acts and murdering police officers. It was horrible. The problem is, I think that Steve Marshall has used that wave of violence as an excuse to execute an innocent man. Until they stick a needle in his arm, there is a chance to save him, and we will hold on to that hope. And we will keep pushing and make sure this case gets the attention it deserves, Ferranio said. And that's the end of the article. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about an innocent man that was executed. Okay? Governor Kay Ivey, I know her re-election is in 2022, right? So Nathaniel Woods shouldn't have been executed. Matter of fact, they shouldn't even sent this man to death row because he didn't have anything to do with this. These police officers were murdered. However, they broke into the house. They had no idea who these people are. And all of a sudden, Nathaniel Woods was executed. An innocent man, ladies and gentlemen, was executed for a crime he didn't commit. Now, again, his friend who was with them, even told Carrie Fisher, his friend, even admitted, people, that he was the trigger man. He killed these officers. But Nate was the one was executed along with Carrie Fisher. See, it's to the point now that when it comes to the criminal justice system, it's okay that police officers can kill innocent black men. It's okay that if a black man was unarmed, they can kill, the police officer can kill him or her and then have administrative leave, and they don't even seek indictments. Was that, when you look at, such a situation in Ferguson, Missouri, when Mike Brown was murdered and that police officer wasn't even been indicted. When you look at George Zimmerman killing Trayvon Martin, and basically, the criminal justice system down in Florida set this man free. But then you have an innocent man like Nathaniel Woods, who didn't have anything to do with this. Basically was executed because, whether he pulled the trigger. And this is why I'm saying the laws need to be changed in Alabama. I'm dead serious. They need to change this law. What, just because I guess he was in other words, he was executed by association, which to me really, I mean, that's not right. You killed an innocent man. You kill. He didn't even pull the trigger. He had no idea who these officers was who broke into the house, and yet they're dead. He's dead. So, even though Governor Kay Ivey out of Alabama, her reelection is only 2022. I was wondering if there's a recall election for her to be removed as governor. If it is, the time is now. Because if she would have done it to Nathaniel Woods, who else she would have done it to? Allow this execution to happen, even though this man right here is innocent. So, you know what? That's why I said the laws in Alabama need to be changed. He was saying saying that Nathaniel Woods was set these officers up for an ambush, but Nathaniel Woods didn't even know they didn't even know they was police officers. Number one, and number two, he didn't even pull the trigger. His friend did, and I'm sorry. When you have, and like I said, this is miscarriage of justice. And I'm sorry, I just want a recall election on Governor Kay Ivey, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get something together. But my point is, ladies and gentlemen, that Governor Kay Ivey, they need to have a recall election and be removed as governor. I'm sorry. I mean, we know her reelection is 2022. No, something has to be done. Laws need to be changed in Alabama. So this will never ever happen again. Because Nathaniel Woods didn't deserve to die. Didn't deserve to be executed of a crime he didn't commit. Y'all let me know what you think about this. Like, click, subscribe, and remember to click the notification bell for all the news and commentary. With that being said, this Lions Den signing off. Deuces.